Greetings, beings, and happy birthday to all Sagittarians and early Capricorns. Welcome to your mid-monthly December reading for the Tarot by Tribe series. I'm Reverend Jakob Martinez, the Crystal Haiku Guy, and I run this channel. Thank you so much for being here. Please make sure that you are considered a legal adult wherever you are, because this channel is M for mature audiences only. I stress that because I communicate with your spirit guides, and sometimes the messages can be pretty intense, and I tend to use strong language. So keep that in mind, because based on your preferences, I may or may not suit your fancy, and it's okay either way. God bless you. So I do this Tarot by Tribe series twice a month. Each of these videos is going to be broken down in a specific fashion. I recommend that you look at your sun, your moon, and your rising or ascendant signs. If you don't know what that is, just look for a free birth chart online so you'll know how to navigate here. It will be helpful to you. Some people also like to look at other planets, Mars, Mercury, whatever, Venus. Please have a look wherever you like. I just keep them organized so they're easy to bounce between. The beginning of each of these videos is basically going to be the intro, and then I'm going to have the front section where I will shuffle 5 different decks that I'm going to use, and that's usually where the channel messages will show up. I recommend taking a look at them just purely based off the feedback that I've been getting since I started this channel in May this year. I've been getting some rockin' feedback about the channeled messages at the front end. So if you're actually looking for spirit messages, sometimes I just get grabbed by y'all's guides. They tell me what's up, and instead of being a shyster about it, I put it there for you. So take a look at it if you want. If you just want to jump to the cards, guess what? Click under the description box, that show more button. You're going to see 3 chapters, 1 for each of the tribes that are associated with that element. Okay, so how I'm going to break them down for you. Challenge style energy, I'm going to use Carolyn Mace's archetype cards because they give us a light and shadow attribute to help us understand what's ahead. We take a look at the physical material realm using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, and then I use the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck for the mental sector. And for the personal, sometimes romance sector, we use the Doreen Virtues Romance Angels Oracle deck, and I like to seal them all up with a little practical advice and a prayer from Archangel Michael using Doreen Virtues Archangel Michael deck. And that's pretty much what I got there. Now, if you are looking for a personal or private look into your own life picture, I'd love to do those. I've decided to extend my special on the future forward readings. I got great feedback on those from people. They usually are about 2 hours in length because it's so specific. I literally break apart the next year of your life. And I also help you see how things are usually going based on your emotional reactions to life. So it's like kind of explaining your karmic choices before you, so that this new year ahead, you're actually stepping more into your dharma, because that's what this polarizing year of 2016 has been about for most of us, is that wake-up call of, now I want to do it different, and I want to make sure that I'm not like tripping over my freaking shoelaces over and over again. And that's pretty much what I'm hearing from most of my people. So I'm running a very deep discount on that reading, and also on my very personalized, detailed readings. So my personal readings, I don't even like to call them a general reading because there's so much information that goes into them, and they're very detailed because of how your guides communicate with me. Most of the times I don't even need cards for them. I just kind of use them as a visual aid to show you confirmation of everything that was channeled. So if you're interested in that, those are usually between about 45 minutes to 60 minutes, depending on your guides and how they communicate with me. But I'm running kick-ass special on that too. So these aren't listed with the specials on my website. You feel free to check it out. Either way, it's artoflove.me. But if you just want information about doing a personal with me, the specials are good for all orders placed between now, as I'm recording this, is the 12th of December, through the 20th. And if you just send an email to prayer@fatheroftribes.com, I'll hit you back. All that information's below, and I'm not going to digress anymore. I'll see you on the inside of your reading. Air tribes, how's it going? Happy middle of the month to you. I was just clearing the space. I recorded Fire Tribes just before this, and I got some pop-out messages that came forward while I was doing that, and it was kind of interesting. I was shuffling the decks, and I don't know if I'm just susceptible to the Mercury retrograde shadow period a lot right now, but I've been having a lot of effects show up around me, if not directly in front of me or in my life. And it's only the 12th, so we're like 7 days out from the Mercury retrograde as of the time that I'm recording this. This recording is actually for the second half of December, but it's the 12th right now while I'm recording it, so just telling you what's going on. I've been having some tech stuff go on, and several people close to me have had major issues with their cars, and there were some messages coming up around that with the Fire Tribes. And anyway, I'm just being led to bring that up, but while I was shuffling the decks, somehow, when I was shuffling the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck for the physical material realm stuff and just clearing it, I left like a big stack of, well, it wasn't a huge stack. There were 5 cards that somehow I left sitting beside me that weren't there while I was clearing. So I had to reshuffle, but I was interested to look at what those cards were. I saw the 8 of Wands reversed, and then there was the 5 of Pentacles, the Fool, the 6 of Cups reversed, and Justice reversed. And I was just hearing something about people feeling like their sensitivities around relationships and expectations have been sort of like triggering, or that might be a theme here over the next couple of weeks. And while I was hearing that, it was funny because the codependency card popped out of the Romance Angels Oracle deck, and I was hearing that this was like kind of connected, and they were talking about like delayed plans, like travel plans, and I was hearing something about new beginnings, and just like the new beginning being there, but that in some cases, like for one reason or another, it's like there's supposed to be some travel. Like a lot of times 8 of Wands for me is like, sometimes I see air travel or like swift communications, and when it shows up reverse, it could literally be just like something didn't happen, or it's not happening quickly, or it's just like kind of delayed is what I was hearing. And for some cases I was hearing it has to do with money. For some situations, 5 of Pentacles can very easily manifest as an indication of a lack of something. In other cases, I'm hearing it had nothing to do with money at all, but it's more of just like that feeling of being out in the cold and just wanting to be inside where it's warm. And then, the Fool was what was next, and that was like right in the middle of it. So I was hearing, look, if you're in a situation, and they're telling me a lot of it has to do with romance, and they were showing me the flirtation card too, and so I was hearing about like new relationships. I've been getting a lot of messages about people coming together from like different sides of the planet. And, maybe that's what the delay's been. It's like, trying to get things together. And, especially with the holiday season, people like to be together when they can and all that. And I was just hearing, don't be too bummed if it's not coming together like right when you want it, because really I'm hearing that it's like, the love that you've wanted is coming to you. And they gave me a way to look at that 6 of Cups that showed up reversed. Like a lot of times that's like a blast from the past. That's like, an old love coming back. Some cases I've heard people say soulmate, or, a karmic love from like another life. If you believe in that, I'm not telling you what to believe. Please believe what you believe and know what you believe. I'm just making suggestions based off of my interpretations here. Same thing with gender. Know your own gender. I'm not telling you what your gender is, just interpreting stuff here. Consider it food for thought. So what I was hearing about the 6 of Cups, they're showing it to me reversed. And what's interesting is like, we got this retrograde that's like about to go on, and it's like sometimes the time where like that past stuff will come back, whether it's like a romantic thing or opportunities. It's just like something will circle back around because of the nature of how Mercury influences us here when it comes at us in the direction that it is. And so it's kind of like a karmic boomerang in a way. And the Six of Cups, by merit of what it is often times the case very similar in nature. It's sort of like a karmic boomerang. And since it is water element, it's cups, it's sometimes, just things that are going to kind of rock you in the emotional center. And so they were showing it to me reversed. And I was hearing in some cases, it's like, it's not undoing that you're getting something. It's just sometimes we have had attachments that have given us opportunities to put ourselves in karmic situations where we're constantly getting in the same type of relationship with different people. And, you might actually progress in your life a certain way and do a certain amount of self-help and care and find yourself in another environment, get into a new relationship, think it's like something new now that you've kind of ascended your energy, and turns out it's like same kind of thing. It's like the same kind of person, but you met them in the freaking self-help group or whatever, or the yoga class, or, the archery lessons, or whatever it was that, was the next part of your growth. And so part of that is just because we can be heavily eluded by our own emotional sways. It's part of why I read the way I do and why I offer really specific sort of tune-up readings with my clients, because I understand the karma dharma split, and why those things will keep happening until we make a change. And what I'm being told is that part of the reason why the Six of Cups is showing up reversed in the middle of what's going to be a Mercury retrograde karmic boomerang cycle is because some of y'all are really going to realize that you have actually broken away from the karmic form of whatever it is that's coming in or that you called in, even if it's a bit delayed, because what you've called in this time, especially if this is having a romantic implication, is actually the kind of soulmate that is a better match for where your energy is now. Because many of you have actually done a lot of self-help, and a lot of you that have exited let's say the most recent karmic relationships, it's because you were being prepared for this now. And I'm being told that, the justice reverse, it's not look, some of y'all, I'm being told, are just finally getting the paperwork for a divorce, or, just whatever clarity you needed to end whatever tethers you had to previous karmic relationships. And I'm also being told that, the reason why that card came up and why it's reversed is because this has to do with calling in a certain kind of relationship. That's an 11. And they were just showing it to me different. I mean, it's this is not a card reading lesson, so some people might quibble with the way I interpret this stuff. Beautiful. Read cards how you like. I don't really need them. Sometimes I get them, and they help me show images and also confirm what it is that I hear for myself. But what I'm being told is that this has, for some of y'all, an implication on partnerships that are in more unison. I'm seeing 11. Okay, this is 11. It's like your partner that's on the same path as you. Because sometimes it's a little crooked and, it seems like you're together and then it's you can go in opposite directions. I'm being told that sometimes the reason why these are taking so long, I saw the Fool was right in the middle. That's because it really is about a powerful new start. And if you don't know about what a 0 is, it's like it's on completion and beginning. You might want to look up the implications of what the Fool means, but it is a completion within itself as well as a new beginning. And so I'm being told that some of y'all really called in some major God bless you unions, and that 11, that justice, is really just talking about, hasn't really quite come forward yet, because it's still taking its time to come together, because these are like the hands of God pulling you together. And in some cases, it's like coming from different sides of the world or cultures, and that's going to take its time. So I'm being told, keep having fun, keep flirting with your life, keep flirting with your partner, especially if you're separated for some painful reason or just proximity issue or whatever it is, and realize that, this might be triggering some old codependency stuff and maybe some very new codependency stuff, and that's okay, because you've learned to come into your heart space. If you've even called forward a mirror sort of relationship that's like striking you in all these ways, and that now is a really good time to work with yourself. Mercury retrogrades are here to help us organize things and prepare for the new cycle. And, some people get all butthurt about what happens. Well, you know what? If you're not expecting shit to go wrong during Mercury retrograde, that's an oversight. And you'll want to look into what this all means and what things can happen. But this is the time when weak things break. This is the time when patience is tested. This is the time to check your tire pressure and your car and be cautious about making plans. It's like if you live in a place that might have blizzards, it would be an oversight to not check the weather before leaving the house, just dressed however, right? So you kind of want to look at it that way. And if you look at it that way, then it kind of will make the retrograde in some ways less like, oh my God, Mercury's in retrograde. People kind of wig out sometimes. It's not really that big of a deal. It's just saying, hey, you might need more than a hoodie today when you go out. Be aware. And so note to self on these things, and also realize that, if that's the case, what would you do if it's blizzarding outside? Well, maybe you would come in and chill out and stay warm, right? And have extra food in your cupboards and so that you are prepared for the storm. Same thing with, just like organizing. Like a lot of times, people can't go outside because of the weather. What do? Well, they might reorganize the house. They might do different things. They might do tasks that help them prepare for when the weather clears up. So maybe think about it that way, especially if you're kind of getting in your head about it. And I'm hearing that, that's like the big risk with this one, because, we're air signs here. We're really cerebral people. My son is an Aquarius, so I understand about this. And it's just like things move quickly with air signs, and, our thoughts can just like spin, and then it's the holidays. And there's just so much going on. And then it's in Gemini. So what's Gemini all about? Dualities. And so it's a time where you can kind of rock your own boat a lot. So especially if you're dealing with codependencies of any kind, whether it's relationships or like, fill in whatever your blank is, I'm hearing that might be triggered. So just keep it in mind. Be careful when you're driving. Take an Uber or Lyft if you can, and take care of yourself. So that's the big thing that came through. Didn't get any songs with that one. Maybe they'll come while I shuffle, but we're going to go ahead and start shuffling now. And I'm being told that we are actually going to be going Gemini, Aquarius, Libra. So I was just literally seeing some of these spilling drinks all over a bar. Be careful. Especially if you're, you know, dealing with any codependencies. I feel like I need to say it again. They were literally showing me somebody at a bar, like, making drinks and, like, being too drunk and, like, mixing drinks at the same time. So, you know, I was hearing that somebody's codependency issues might be carried into the workplace, and that there's a cautionary note with that. That's a very specific message for hopefully very few. Yeah, for somebody else, actually, they're showing me that Eight of Cups again, but, like, it's, like, in reverse, and I'm just hearing that some people just might be really triggered about decisions that they have made and wondering if the emotional decision to move on was the right one. And I'm just being told to remind you that you have learned a lot and that you are better equipped now to do the things independently of that past situation than maybe you're giving yourself credit for. And part of the reason is because I'm being told that it might have been codependency that kept you in those relationships. And so, you know, you're kind of like checking yourself right now, but I'm just being told, make sure you're not giving yourself, you know, any like too much negative credit, you know, is how they're saying it to me, because that's like something that could have you like regress. And, you know, now's not the time to be very reactive is the thing. And so anytime that Mercury's in retrograde, it's like, you know, double check on stuff. And if you have a chance to wait on making major decisions or like, you know, changing your mind when you were feeling really good about it before the planet started going retrograde, you might just want to defer some of the decisions so you're not making any decisions out of haste and then like possibly reversing yourself again when the planet of communication is back direct and things feel good again. See what I mean? So give yourself grace. And with that same token, please give others grace too. This card that landed on top for Gemini, whatever it is, was like trying to throw itself out. It was trying to flip. It didn't, so I haven't looked at it yet, but it seemed pretty excited, whatever it was. Well, that's really sweet. I'm shuffling the Doreen Virtue Romance Angels Oracle cards, and they were showing me another lens on this codependent thing that popped up and like the flirt that I'd seen with it. And they were saying that it's actually, it's about some of those like soulmates, or I'm hearing in some cases there's some actual twin flames that are being called together, and it's like trying to sync it up, you know. It's difficult to do, especially if there's like proximity issues. And I was hearing that in some cases, there are relationships where, you know, both people have recuperated from something pretty major. I was hearing like a personal tragedy story with a couple of them, and some of them near tragedy and stuff about, you know, abuse and addictions in the past. And they were showing me, like, you know, the distressed looking couple over having this distance at this time. And what I was seeing that was really sweet, though, is, you know, it was like the two partners were coming together in a really loving way, and I was seeing them, like, blowing kisses at each other, like, I don't know if they're like on like Google Hangout or Skype or FaceTime, something like that. And they were saying something about how she was keeping him, helping him stay sober. And that's just how I heard it. I mean, you know, whatever genders could be applicable, but that's how I heard it from somebody's guide. And they were saying that, you know, there's a really special relationship that they were showing me where, you know, the partners are apart, but they're like together in spirit, like in a really meaningful way. And they were saying he's going to stay sober. You know, they're just saying he's like committed, and that it's like you've been helping him, and it was something he wanted anyway. But, you know, they were just saying don't lose faith and coming together, and just know that it's worth it. And, you know, especially if it's like a healing sort of relationship where people have been kind of put upon or feeling damage from life in different ways, and, you know, you find something that is pulling on you like that and helping you heal those wounds because you feel supported and supplemented. You know, some things are worth waiting for. That's what I'm hearing. So, bless your union. Great. So everything has been dealt, and this sage is like burning out so fast. Wow. Everything's burning fast here. Jeez. All right, okay. Lots of movement. Yeah. Wind makes fire go. So maybe that's what this is all about. Some of y'all are trying to speed things up. I was getting a similar message with some of the fire tribes. So, you know, maybe you have some dealings with fire tribes, or you have some fire in your chart. I was getting really clear messages for Leo to kind of maybe like slow down a little bit, take a step back, because there was like almost too much like frenzy going around them. You might want to check those. So I'm just going to light a little more sage here, let some more Kuan Yin, because they keep showing me soulmate. They're saying we need a lot of soulmate support, and right now we're lighting the sage to clear the energies and the safe passage for soulmates, especially those who are experiencing travel delays or delays in communication. So I'm hearing we could all use some help with that. I'm going to take a pass here. It's for the soulmates. And soulmates don't have to all be romantic. All right. We're going to get started on Gemini. What's shaking, Gemini? How you doing? Happy middle of the month to you. Flip your cards. Okay, Gemini. First thing jumping up, you got the same card in the same spot as, what's it? Same card, same spot as Leo. Here you might be dealing with a Leo, or have a Leo in your chart somewhere, or you are perhaps dealing with the same Cancerian person or situation. 7, the Chariot, Major Arcana, showed up in your physical material realm upside down, just like Leo did. I'm hearing in some cases that might be your moon or your rising sign, or one of your other signs somewhere strong in your chart. And I'm hearing this is a great month to just focus on some energy healing right now. And going within, and I'm hearing some of y'all are. I'm hearing, some of this has to do with, discontent in an emotional way over some relationship stuff. And I'm hearing in some cases it's just, you might want to check out the channel messages. I was getting messages about soulmates coming together and, needing to be patient and give it a chance because it was worth it. And they're saying you might like the same song that came up for the fire tribes, especially if you're dealing with fire people, or maybe have somebody that you missed that's got fire in their chart if it's not you. But the Guns N' Roses song Patience was coming up for them. And I'm hearing a lot of y'all are doing exactly that, because your overall archetypal energy for the second half of the month here, Gemini, is showing up as the monk/nun. Kind of interesting too, because it's two people back to back, right? Kind of like Gemini, it's yourself, maybe embodying both sides of your polarities, as in feminine, masculine, and perhaps light and shadow. That would be extremely Geminian. And I'm hearing that, that's part of what these sphinxes are here too. This is you being tested. Whether or not you have Cancer in your chart, or if it has anything to do with the 7th month, like July. I'm hearing it's about how you operate, because these two sphinxes want to go which ways. That's some badassery right there. The sphinxes, you got some power, right? And when this card shows up, right, this person's sort of in control of that energy, even though they just kind of those wheels might want to come flying off, while this guy's in action. She, he, they, know your own gender. When it shows upside down like this, it's kind of maybe almost losing control, or stopping so that you can have control. And I'm hearing in some cases it's about balancing and tempering those emotional pulls. And so let me just be the one that reminds you that people like to point fingers a lot and call others names that sometimes might have a helpful sort of connotation to them, but in other cases it's really just not doing any good to the person having the finger pointed at them. For instance, just being told, oh, you're just bipolar, or, you're just this or that, or you're highs and lows. And you want to know what, sweetheart? All energy is bipolar. Every single energy that exists works on an energetic frequency. That's why I use this deck a lot, because it gives you light and shadow attributes. Black and white, okay, black and white. Two sides of the same thing, one is a void and one is in all of. And so it's it's the same thing, really. It's just how that current might run. And so, especially with a sign like Gemini, you might flip back and forth between experiencing both sides of things. And it's kind of reckless sometimes for people to tell you over and over again, oh, you're just this or you're just that, especially if you're just trying to understand, because sometimes people that you're around don't know how to deal with that, because they might not be as cerebral as you are, or as respectful about others' humanity and their point of healing. And I'm just having to say it because I just saw somebody kind of beaten over the head for having a chemical imbalance, and I think that's some fucking bullshit. And you're going to know if you're having some, people that are not being fair with you about it. But I'm saying be aware, because the shadow attributes on this card are reminding me of that. And I want to be the one to remind you that you having feelings and experiencing things that are inconvenient doesn't make you broken. You are informed for knowing these things. How you respond to that yourself is what's going to determine whether or not you're creating things that bring life and inspire life and happiness in your life, or if it's stuff that's just causing negative chaos and destruction. Okay, and so you're going to know if you need some help. I'm hearing in some cases that what's on your mind this month is just not being happy with how things have been shaping up, and in some cases it's because you're realizing that you've been healing and that some of the things that are in your life need to be canceled out. And I'm hearing in some cases that's what this is. It's like, this is just putting an end to that. It's just saying, you know what, we're not going to go forward in that direction anymore, and putting a halt to it and just kind of like sorting it out. And I'm hearing that this is a good month before making any rash decisions, because that can happen with the Chariot energy. Sometimes the Chariot energy showing up in the physical material, that can be just like something wanting to happen, like taking that step. And in some cases, it makes sense to just say, I feel like doing all this stuff. I feel like going different directions, and I'm going to take a pause on it, because what I know about myself, whether or not people are telling me negative judgments to impose onto myself, I'm the freaking monk/nun. Okay, so know that if that's you, and if you need help, your relationship to yourself is the most important one ever. And if you don't have somebody holding you like that, maybe that's how you need to hold your inner self, And so I'm hearing a lot of y'all need some energy healing right now. And you see this? I don't know how well you can see this, but it kind of looks like a cross going through this person here. Whoever they are, I'm hearing this is you guys. And that, you can feel divided. You can feel divided and still be in harmony with yourself. You can still be cohesive in that. You can experience your highs and lows, your lefts and rights, however you need to analyze it. And sometimes that's what it is. It's like Gemini is trying to analyze feelings, and sometimes other signs don't like that. So they like to tell you you're this, that, and the other thing. You want to know what? I'm going to tell you, you can be at one with yourself. Even this angel showed up divided, but they came together, right? Energy healing work. So don't let others get into you too much about who you are and what it means to be you. And if you need some help, there's a lot of help. So I'm just going to read to you what the card says on the Monk Nun. Light attributes: selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. Shadow attributes: negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety. So that's your challenge, right? That might be how you're feeling, how others are coming at you, or how things feel around you. I'm going to bust open the book, turn these archetypes, and get a little more information here for you. All right, Gemini, we've got another keyword here: celibate. 4 bullet points in the tip. First bullet point: possesses spiritual intensity, devotion, dedication, persistence, perhaps wisdom. Second bullet point: able to be single-minded, assiduous, devoted to a spiritual path or to any work that requires intense focus, including art and business. Third one says, celibate conserves vital energy for work and or spiritual practice. The last one says, shadow monk nun is removed from the real world, overly pious, self-absorbed. I'm going to give you a tip here to keep in mind. says, determine whether you have a serious life pattern of removing yourself from the world and personal relationships to focus intently on spiritual practice or work. I'm actually hearing that this month that might be a good thing to do, though. You're saying, it's a good time to go within and maybe kind of like, depart from that. And in some cases I'm hearing it's, just travel plans delayed. And that's what that is. So that might be why this is showing up upside down in the physical material realm, if this has nothing to do with the Cancerian person or, anything else that I mentioned. But it's very possible that, you are dealing with a Cancerian person. And if so, you might also want to check out that other reading that I told you about, because the same card showed up same way for the Leo. And I'm just being reminded that, if it has something to do with travel, just make sure that you are checking everything. And I was hearing for somebody, it's really, make sure too, if you're like flying, well, they're showing me this, like if you're taking medication, and this is just something to know, I take a ton of supplements personally. I've survived some near fatal stuff myself, and so I do have some things that I take for my own self-care. And it's a good idea if you're going to do any travel that, especially if you're checking bags, make sure that you keep the stuff that you need like that, especially if it's something you have to take at a regular interval. Keep it in your carry-on and keep your eye on it. I was just seeing somebody like dropping a pill case out of a purse or something and like looking for it later and being like really stressed out about it. And so, just make sure you double check on everything and just realize, anytime the planet of communication comes backwards at us like this, it's just even a better time to just go over things with an extra fine-tooth comb and just give yourself some space. And if you don't have to make any rush decisions, take your time. And in some cases, I'm hearing that's all this is. It's not even like a rush decision, but that, there's been a decision to do something, to take a direction, and that, if you are showing up, like light attribute month none, this is like something you really planned. And I'm hearing in some cases, you've been like working on this. I'm hearing there's a project that's been coming together. And in some cases, it's like I'm hearing 7 months in that you've put some time into it, and that this is still happening. But it's showing up like this because you're just taking your time with the launch. And I'm hearing in some cases, it's seriously because some of you all are just like, you're very aware of what's going on in the world, and you're just taking a pause, and you're like, you know what, it's only 4 weeks. So even if I have to be a little bored for like 4 weeks, I'm just going to wait for this Mercury retrograde thing to pass before I move to the next thing. And I'm hearing in some cases, it's really about seeing somebody that you love and that you want to be with, and, just realizing that, now is a good time to do the self-care thing, and you can still be with that person. I've seen a lot of stuff about people kind of like meeting in etheric planes and having really awesome love somehow with a real spiritual soulmate. And in other cases, just kind of like communicating, in virtual ways. So, that might be why this is showing up on the mind, 4, discontent and boredom. Mental sector card using the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. This card, if you're referencing like your Rider-Waite-Smith, it's going to be your 4 cups, which is something of an emotional nature. So in some cases, it could be somebody with water element somewhere in their chart. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, probably Sun, Moon, Rising, whether or not you know it. And it could be somebody that's on your mind. In other cases, I'm hearing it's just like, feeling just sort of withdrawn about, having the meh feeling. And I think a lot of people do get that around the holiday season, especially if there's somebody that they want to be hugging, and for whatever reason, there's like a delay. So let's just see what the book says for you here. Gemini. 4, discontent and boredom. This card signifies a time when you may experience stagnation, discontent, and boredom. Feelings of restlessness and impatience surround you. A relationship, project, or situation isn't moving forward fast enough and could be draining you emotionally and energetically. You're longing for change, and although one door may be closing, don't focus all of your energy on it. as opportunity will soon knock. A window or another door could quickly open. And if your attention and awareness isn't focused, you could easily miss it. Watch for synchronistic events that bring books, speakers, workshops, and new people into your life. Any of these could possibly hold a message for you. Have faith in divine timing and know that everything changes for a reason. This card acts as a reminder that it's a perfect time to reevaluate and search within your heart and soul for fresh insights. That divine timing thing really jumped at me, especially since you have a major show up as a 7. 7 is a lot of times about divine timing, especially if they come in repetitious fashion. And there have been a lot of 7s that came up. 2 of the fire tribes got 7s, and one of them actually, like I said, had the exact same card and placement. So I'm hearing that some of this is about the shared experience and things coming together and just needing some time. And so I hope that you're just giving yourself some grace. Let me just show you what's here behind this person. I think they're like sometimes just feeling a little mopey. And, look, there's light and shadow, right? So in some cases, this might be about you learning to work with the sways of your own emotions. And it might be rocked right now, I'd be lying if I tried to, not bring this up. And so I'm not going to do that. Look, this Mercury retrograde that's happening is happening in your sign. And so the best thing that you can do, honey, is just, look into what it means. Because what that's going to help you do is look at yourself more nicely so that when you're feeling like this rocky boat's going on, because maybe it's, affecting you differently than others, you're not feeling shitty for no good reason, and taking it and internalizing it and just feeling like you're not in control of your life, because sometimes that's what this is. This person like this, that person's in control. That person's got that thing in their hand. Those sphinxes might want to go which ways, but you're being pretty obedient here, right? This way, maybe not, right? So I'm just hearing don't let others and all that stuff get into your head. And sometimes the best thing to do is just be prepared, know what it means. And then when you feel yourself going through it, then you can be like, got it. Note to Gemini. So in some cases I'm hearing that's what gives your relationship the chances. It's just you taking custody of yourself in a safe way that feels loving. Because maybe you don't have somebody to hold you like that, right? Maybe that would be nice. And maybe sometimes you have an unfair advantage because there's 2 of you. So you can give yourself a nice big hug there, Gemini. Mwah, mwah. Hold yourself. Remind yourself how beautiful you are. And work on your partnership to yourself. In other cases, I'm hearing that's just all about feeling impatient about that one that you want to be with. So, they're just saying it might be worth the wait. And so, don't jump to conclusions if you feel like you have something that you want. And really look at this energy healing work. I'm seeing some really cool stuff. I'm seeing partners that come across from different places that mirror each other well, and that, that's what this is. It's they just haven't come together yet, because sometimes it's a proximity difference, and that it's this is really what's happening in the etheric world. And boom, you're actually healing your energy by learning to deal with this. And that's the 2 people coming and uniting as one. Boom. Wow. Awesome. So some of y'all have amazing relationships here. You just need to remember it. And I'm seeing here all this rainbow stuff right here. You're saying balance your chakras. Be in the light of your heart. See, you had a green card show up right in the middle. That's saying that in the middle of all of this is a call to do some heart healing. Now, I'm going to read to you what the Giant Virtues Romance Angels Oracle deck says on the Give Relationship, the Chance card. So sometimes, it's not going to be a relationship outside of yourself. Sometimes it's just about how you're handling yourself, and one way or the other, even if you do want a relationship and you don't have one, the best way to get one that is going to make you feel like you're being healed is to start giving yourself that energy first, because it's kind of like a magnet. It's just going to bring more things that are at that level to you. So I'm going to read to you what the book says here. Work on your partnership. The romance angels see that your relationship is worth devoting effort to. Although there may be issues, these can be worked through and healed. You'll need to commit to the relationship to ensure the best chance of success. I'm hearing in some cases you just need to speak up. I'm hearing in some cases you might have just been like too quiet and that you actually need to talk to that person. I'm hearing they might need to hear your words. So at the very least, if you do end it, you'll know that you gave it your all. You'll also understand the role that you played in its dynamics. In this way, you'll avoid attracting similarly painful situations in the future. You receive this card because there's hope for your partnership. The love is still there. Consider working with a counselor. This may be your best option at this point. This professional can identify areas of dysfunction and guide you both in healthier directions. And so that makes a lot of sense with the energy healing work showing up here. So, look into that. And I'm hearing Reiki would just be great for some of y'all. So, look for a great Reiki practitioner. If you want one, I'm actually one. Master's level Reiki here. So I'm going to leave it on that practical advice and a tip from Archangel Michael to heal Vine energy. Gemini, here we go. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for sending healing energy to me and through me for my own blessings and for all those around me. Thank you for connecting me to loving, high-integrity healers and teachers of energy healing modalities. Amen. All right. That's what I got for you, Gemini. I hope you liked it. I hope it made sense. And if so, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Hit me up if you'd like a personal prayer or a private reading. I am doing a ridiculous special on those. You can email me at prayer@fatheroftribes.com. Special is good for all orders placed through the 20th. And I can give you more details via email. I hope you have a beautiful holiday season. Whatever you celebrate, please be kind to yourself and others. And if I don't hear from you, I'll see you again soon. I'm going to go ahead and just clear up the space a little bit here, sip on some of that tea, and then we're going to jump into Aquarius, and then we will finish it all up on Libra. It told me to pull out some tarot healing incense. I should light that instead of the sage right now, so I'm going to set that one on fire. What's going on, Aquarius? Happy middle of the month to you. Gonna flip your cards. All right. Heard it's on. Said it's on. You want me to jump to your Archangel Michael advice and prayer card? It says, let go of fear now, Aquarius. They're saying it's on. Well, your archetype for the second half of the month is the Child Magical. Beautiful card. Actually, we just got that a couple of weeks ago, too. My guides want me to cross-reference this for you, just in case it is helpful for you. You might want to even go back and look at this, if that's the case. In December, yeah, they're saying you might be dealing with an Aries or have some Aries somewhere strong in your chart. They're saying Venus and Mars, but you might be dealing with an actual Aries person, too. They had that same card show up a couple of weeks ago. Child Magical. Light attribute state, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Shadow attribute state, pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. And so, it's interesting. I'm just look at this picture here. I'm being told that a lot of this has to do with the wings that you've called in. They're saying some of y'all called in your wings. I just heard that. And that you don't even realize how magical you are. And I'm hearing a lot of it has to do with depression. And they're actually saying that, I'm seeing it again. It's, I was seeing somebody mixing drinks. They're showing me the Alchemist card, which is a card from this Carolyn Mace deck. It's one of the archetypes, and they're showing me the Alchemist, and they were showing me at the beginning, like, the Eight of Cups, but, like, reverse, and it was, like, somebody just, like, pouring drinks all over the place, and I've been hearing a lot about codependencies and letting things go, and you had 2 sixes show up here side by side. Your physical material realm using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, you've got the 6 of Pentacles in reverse, and it's like, you know, somebody throwing out coins, but like upside down. And then here we've got the 6 of, well, this is the 6 of Cups if you're referencing this deck. But here it's called Memories of Love, which somebody else got. Where is it? What was the 6 of Cups? Didn't somebody get the 6 of Cups here? No, I'm sorry. It was the 6 of Wands. I was getting that confused. Which was Aries again, too. Maybe that's why they wanted me to look at it. I'm getting a lot of Aries energy here. But, you know, often this has to do with, like, blast from the past, things coming back. And that happens a lot with retrogrades, a lot of times. Cups are also emotional, and sometimes I see the cups even being like, you know, drinking things. And well, I was just being told, though, that this, in some cases, is like letting go of that. And I'm seeing somebody literally like just like turning a new leaf and saying, you know what, it's funny, maybe that's what it was. It was like a bartender that I was seeing that was like drunk behind like the bar, and it being like a reckless situation. But here, the way they're showing me is that it's like somebody that was making their money that way and is deciding that it was like a bad influence for them. And they're just like letting it go. And that's part of how they found, I'm hearing, their salvation and those wings. It's like, you know, they just needed to get away from like toxic exposures is what I'm hearing. And in some cases, I'm hearing it has to do with a relationship. Heart-to-heart conversations. It's coming up here in the personal/romance sector. Not always going to have that direct implication with, you know, letting somebody go. I'm hearing in other cases, this is really like having called in a magical partnership and needing to have a really special talk with them because you might have actually called in a soulmate. This for me is a lot of times a soulmate or like a past life love that's come back, whether or not you believe in that. But memories of love showing up on the mind. So I'm hearing whatever it is, you're going to know how it's striking you. They're saying, don't be afraid, Aquarius. They're saying, like, see that light right there? Some of y'all, since you've been balancing your chakras and your sense of self, you've actually been, like, thinking with a balanced ego. And that's why that yellow light is showing up there on your head, illuminating your third eye. It's like your inner wisdom. And I'm hearing in some cases that's how you called in a magical partner. I'm hearing in some cases that butterfly person right there with the orange wings might remind you of somebody in your life. And that that's what you have called in, and that that's what's on your mind. I'm going to open up this book, the archetype book, and we're going to read about the child. There are actually other children that show up in this system here, and we all get one. And so I'm actually going to read to you first what the child is all about, and then I will read about this specific one. Child. Variations include divine, eternal, boy, girl, magical, innocent, nature, abandoned, orphan, wounded, and many of which are present to some degree in every psyche. And then one aspect is usually dominant. So you can really only have one in your support team of archetypes. We all have multiple archetypes at different times. And the one that Spirit gave us for you here just happens to be the magical one, also known as the innocent child. So we've got 4 bullet points and a tip. First bullet point says, sees potential for sacred beauty in all things. Second one says, embodies wisdom and courage in the face of difficult circumstances. Third one says, is gifted with imagination and the belief that everything is possible. And the last one says, shadow magical child manifests as lack of faith in miracles and transformation, attitudes of pessimism and depression, and as the belief that energy and action are not required, allowing one to retreat into fantasy. And then the tip they want you to keep in mind here, Aquarius, is to look for a pattern of transcendence over apparently negative circumstances from early on in life. I'm hearing in some cases that's what that memories of love is. It's just like taking a new lens on maybe the things from the past that had an emotional pull, or maybe causing like sways of emotions. Maybe that's what those ripples of water are here. It's like these hands are like lovingly letting that light go, and sending it off. And I'm hearing in some cases, some of y'all decided to like walk away from jobs even, that weren't serving you right, or things that felt like, I'm hearing, just trading time for dollars, but in a way that wasn't fulfilling, because like all these coins, like when they're upright, they're yellow. That's stuff that makes you feel good. It's stuff that supports you in the material realm. And even though this is showing give and exchange here, I'm noticing it's not even. There's like 3 here, and there's like 2 here, and this person's got one on their mind, and they're trying to figure out where it's going to come from. I'm hearing in some cases it's like, you've come in touch with some of your like magical awesomeness, and sometimes it's because you let some shit go, because you have decided to let go of fear and fearmongers and people that don't belong and people that have just taken stabs at you is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing nasty, nasty stabs. They say nasty, nasty stabs. And I'm hearing that in some cases it's like you were actually supporting these people, maybe giving them money, and they were just constantly coming to you in the begging position, but making you feel like you were in the begging position, and that this is like the Aquarius putting their foot down and saying, no more. And in some cases, they're doing it in a really loving way, and they're just like, you know what? I'm just happy I learned so much, because I found my light in this. I found my light, and I can even send off these things that I learned from that I don't really necessarily want to hold in my hands or myself anymore, away in light. And so that's what a magical person does. So I'm just hearing be gentle with yourself. In some cases, look, remember, you're going to be triggered. I keep hearing you're going to be triggered. I'm hearing a lot of y'all are going to be freaking triggered. And it's not like probably any surprise to you, too. I mean, a lot of people get triggered this time of year. It's just like it can be like really a lot to deal with. There's so much expectation from others with, holidays and what does it mean, and how do you feel if you don't have your love partner there, or if you've been calling it in, it hasn't been there. I mean, people get depressed, and so I'm just hearing in some cases too, that might be on the mind. It's just remembering like that old stuff, and in some cases wanting to go back to certain behaviors that might still pull you in those areas, and that it's almost like it's a lot, because these two kind of cancel each other out. You got 2 6s here, side by side. One's upside down, one's right side up. One has to do with your physical material realm. One has to do with all your emotions. And it's like, guess what? Let me tell you something, darling. Look into what Mercury retrograde is all about, and what it means to be in Gemini, because that's what that is. That's the duality. That's the dualistic stuff. I'm hearing in some cases you just need to retreat for yourself, give yourself, that space to be healed, and, look for the things that bring potential sacred beauty in your life. And so it's the belief that things and everything is possible that is sometimes going to be what you need. It's going to be like your little magical antidote to kind of put you back in the level space. And I'm hearing in some cases, you might need to look at your chemistry. You're giving me a lot of stuff about chemical imbalances this month for people. And I'm hearing in some cases, it's not even that. It's just like getting to the heart of the matter. This is the physical material realm showing up here. This is the personal, sometimes romantic realm. Wow, can't say that. Some of y'all need to figure out how to say things. And I'm hearing you need to have a talk, even if it's hard. And it sounds like, in some cases, that's what you're trying to do. And maybe somebody is like really kind of frozen. I'm hearing it's not that they're not like trying to hear you. It's just like they're like in a state of shock in some cases. And I'm hearing in some cases that it's like, this is the person you're dealing with trying to let go of fear, and then it's like you're getting some help. I'm hearing angelic help communicating with that person, and that it's just a really good time to stay heart-centered in this. But they're saying you need to honestly discuss your feelings with each other. So in some cases, that might have a very romantic implication. In other cases, that might not. It can deal with just people in your life that you need to, I'm hearing, let go and love. And that might be why this is on your mind, this Six of Cups, Memories of Love card. I'm just going to go ahead and open up the book here. This is the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, and this is what the book looks like. We're going to see what this card says here and get you some more clues. Wow, it opened up right to the page. That doesn't happen often. Okay, Aquarius, 6, Memories of Love. You may find yourself walking down memory lane at this time. This nostalgic card could indicate that an old friend or acquaintance from the past may step back into your life, or it could even resurrect loving images from days gone by. Does this person, these happy forgotten moments, or those innocent childhood memories encourage you to recall and welcome the energy of love? Is there a message or lesson from these fond recollections that could benefit you in your present life? The number 6 card relates to support, dedication, unity, and a need for balance in the areas of emotions and love. Your heart and soul are asking you not to dwell in the past, but use the inspiration and joy from that time to assist you in the here and now. And that can happen. I'm hearing in some cases this might be the ex showing up again. Whether or not they have water in their chart, and this could be somebody with a strong Piscean, Cancerian, or Scorpionic influence. It might be somewhere heavy in their constitution, sun, moon, rising, whatever. And in some cases, that person's on your mind. In other cases, this might be like an ex trying to come back. It doesn't have to be an ex either, though. It can actually be a new person. It can even be like a new person that just feels like somebody that you just like know and you just connect with. And they might have a lot of water influence. And so, one way or the other, they're saying y'all might need to really talk. And I'm hearing it might be a difficult conversation, and if that's the case, you really need to find your strength, your inner strength, and use your high mind and wisdom. And they're saying you got it. It's like, I keep seeing that color everywhere. It's like, I'm seeing this person like considering all this yellow stuff around them here. And that's like, kind of like the stuff they were considering here that brings stability into the world, maybe their coin, their finances. And so, it's kind of practical too, I guess, in a way. But what they were saying here is that, I see this one person making an appeal to the other person. And this person is covered in green. And I'm hearing that whatever you give it freely, Aquarius. See, this person's letting it go. They're sending light. And they're not trying to grab it and be stingy. And in some cases, Some cases, I've seen this card actually be like that. The person's like giving charity away, but it's like, oh, look at me, I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that. And they like to keep people in the begging position. In some cases, here, maybe it's just like, not like that. I don't always see it like that, but here it's like the people that were begging are up on top, and it's like, it's just kind of coming up to them. It's like they're getting an elevation, and I'm hearing in some cases that's because some of y'all have chosen to be free givers, and you know when to hold on to things and you know when to release them. And so the only reason you got to that point, if that's where you are, well, that means you're a magical motherfucker. High five. Good job. It's because you let go of that fear and you do shine from your inner light right here. So you're going to know where you fall into this here, but it's very, very interesting energy. And look, I can't say that this isn't the case. There is a cautionary note here about how you're spending your money. Since this is your physical material realm, okay, let's say that this, it could very well be people that are in your life that have strong earth element, so, Cancerian, Taurian, Virgoan people. And in some cases, there have been some unbalanced situations where the give and take has been off in different ways. And that what this is saying is that a heart-to-heart conversation, honestly discussing your feelings with that person, is probably going to open things up. And I'm seeing it be beautiful, because if this is what ends up happening, this is a really beautiful card. That's like really nice exchange of love, and that could be a magical relationship. In other cases, I'm hearing, though, this might just be about how you're spending. And they're just saying, look, be careful how you're spending your money, that you're not just like throwing it all over the place too, because this could be overly done. And so some of y'all are going to do that. Some of you are going to feel like you want to be very abundant in sharing with others, but I'm hearing that, you also need to be cautious and mindful of how you're doing that, especially if you're giving out of shadow reasons, because they're just reminding me, sometimes this card, although it can be charitable and, giving, sometimes this person just likes being elevated, So kind of check in with how that's going, because, I just have to say, it says the Let Go of Fear Now card is showing up. I'm just hearing some people might be operating out of like fear and believing that, things aren't going to happen unless they sort of influence it in this way. And so I guess there's just a cautionary note to not throw off balance with your monetary assets or imbalances of power in this way, because the energy could just be very prone to that, especially with these 2 6s maybe trying to cancel each other out, and just how the Gemini dualistic thing works. So make sure that, first of all, you're in your heart center with the things that you're doing, because you need to be in your own heart space. And if you're this person that wants to have a difficult discussion or a serious discussion, or you're being advised by others about how to do that, because I'm hearing in some cases this is about counseling, you want to be in your heart space. So all that green, all this green, you're saying it's a good thing to focus on. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Romance Angels Oracle deck book, and we're going to get some more clues on that heart-to-heart conversations, Aquarius. In some cases, you just need to talk to your partner. And I think they're just saying make sure, especially if, communications can be rough, because it's hard to speak when the planet of communication is coming backwards. Just be gentle. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. Your love life needs a healthy infusion of honest communication. According to the Romance Angels, you've been harboring emotions that are masking your feelings of love. There's still time to heal the situation. However, it will require effort on your part. You may need to initiate an uncomfortable discussion and risk upsetting your partner. In the end, though, this is a necessary move to ensure the health of your relationship. If necessary, schedule an appointment with a counselor to facilitate the discussion. This professional can steer the conversation away from blame and toward resolution. You can also gain support from free groups such as Emotions Anonymous, Codependence Anonymous, or L Anon. Meetings are held internationally and online, and you can find them through your internet search engine. Whether you communicate with your partner alone or with a neutral third party, your heart-to-heart discussions will result in personal growth. Remember that you can't control another's reactions. You can only be honest about how you feel and know what you will do and won't accept in a relationship. By sharing your feelings, you stand a much better chance of teaching your partner about your needs instead of suffering silently. And so I'm hearing that's really exactly why this card might have shown up for some of y'all. You just need to let go of your fear and, in some cases, tell your partner, lovingly, honey, this is what I need, and make that case known. And I'm hearing that in some cases, even if they're giving you that deer in the headlights look, because I don't know if you can see that too well, but this cat over here, that look on his face, he's just like, so she might be telling him something really intense. And I'm just hearing, if it looks like that, it doesn't mean that they're not listening. They might just need to process it. Especially if it's something that's like affecting their sense of security, because a lot of times that's why this is showing up in the physical material realm. This is pretty grounded. 6 is a grounded number. This way might not be feeling so grounded. So keep it in mind if it's yours. You're going to know. I'm going to leave it on the practical advice and the tip from Archangel Michael to let go of fear now, Aquarius. All right, here we go. Dear Archangel Michael, please help me feel safe and deserving of your guidance. Thank you for clearing me of heavy, toxic, or ego-based thoughts or feelings. Amen. All right, Aquarius, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. I hope it made sense. If it did, thumbs up. Share it with a friend. Subscribe. Hit me up if you would like a personal prayer or a personal reading. I'm running specials on my readings through the 20th of December. Hit me up at prayer@fatheroftribes.com if you would like more information about that. If I don't hear from you, I wish you a very merry whatever the heck you're doing, and be careful. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao for now. Gonna clear it up here a little bit, and we just keep burning everything super fast. So we are going to burn some more stuff, and then we're going to wrap it all up on Libra. What's going on, Libra? Happy middle of the month to you. Hope you're doing great. I'm going to flip over your cards. All right, Libra. Okay, this color was showing up a lot for me. I was channeling at the beginning before getting started with the fire tribes and now the air tribes today. They had me light a yellow candle telling me this is a month to focus on your solar plexus chakra, showing up on your mind. That's the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. And hey, I say it all the time whenever I get one of these chakra cards here. Big deal for me, strong emphatic point that everything to do with that energy center needs to be addressed. And when it shows up on your mind like this, you're telling me you know it. I'm hearing in some cases, this has to do with a bully. So that's what showed up in the challenge style energy with the archetype cards. And, you know, I don't know if you're a regular on my channel or not, but I'm just going to mention that there was some really messy energy coming up around Libras. I want to say it was mid-October and in November, there was some really nasty energy that was showing up around my Libras. And I just kept hearing, like, suffering in silence and, like, just things about, like, gross, reckless energies. I'm not saying it to you guys. It was just around the Libra. And so, look, in some cases, y'all have been dealing with that. You know? Ooh, I heard little pig let me in. I don't know what that is, but I'm hearing about a bully, and, you know, I see this. It's like somebody on the outside freezing and feeling like a lack. It's the physical material realm. One way or the other, they want me to jump ahead here and just tell you that there is a resolution here. So especially if you're dealing with some kind of mess, and I'm hearing it has something to do with how you're dealing with yourself and like your self-image. You know, there's a lot of yellow here, and they're saying that there's some salvation, that you might have some help. I'm hearing in some cases you might need to reach out, though. The getting to know each other card showed up here, which this is the personal / romance sector. Yes, very well could be new romance for some of y'all, but I'm hearing in some cases, especially if there's like a bully here, that you might not want to spend too much time with this person, and don't jump to conclusions, you know. Just maybe get to know the situation before you invest too much in it. But I'm hearing in other cases, this actually has to do with getting some help or resolving the situation. I'm seeing this other person here and somebody taking advice. So it's going to depend on which Libra you are. Let's start again here with the bully card, because this energy, really good to know about. I love this deck, the Carolyn Mace deck, because as an archetype, what it does is it helps us understand how an energy can play out, because all energy is bipolar, like I was telling Geminis, because I was hearing about people throwing names around and like mudslinging and being like, oh, you're this, or you're that, or whatever. You know, people can be like that, and sometimes Mercury retrograde can pull that shit out of the air in big ways, because people aren't always communicating very well, and you might want to look up what, you know, this Mercury retrograde is all about. I'm not going to get all into that. I'm not your big astrology guy. I love it, but I don't consider myself as much of an astrologer. I'm more of an intuitive, and so I just know what's blowing in the air, and in some cases they're saying it's a bully. So it might play out in different ways if it's not how you're tempted to act yourself. Here's what it says on the card. Light attributes. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others. Helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Shadow attributes. Conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. And that could be other people in your world, and it could just be like a context clue as to how things are feeling. I'm hearing in some cases this is like the Virgo, because this is a physical material realm card, and this is Pentacles suit, so Pentacles are usually going to be something with strong earth element. Could very well be, why did I say Virgo? This is the Libra reading. I heard Virgo. I heard you might be dealing with a Virgo. So they're saying you might be dealing with a Virgo. Could be Capricorn, Taurus. Doesn't have to be sun sign. Could be moon rising, something else. But I'm hearing that you might have a bully, and that this might be leaving that bully-some situation. I don't know why I heard Virgo, but I did. So it doesn't have to be, though, and I'm not picking on Virgo, but this is something that's showing up in the physical material realm. So, you know, it could even be a Virgo that's not happy with you, or any other earth sign, too. It could be anybody, but sometimes when this shows up, I mean, this is a card of lack. This is people that feel like they don't have, and they're kind of hurting. They're out in the cold. And in some cases, they're just not seeing what's obvious and what's around them. And so I'm being told in some cases it's just because of bad programming. I'm hearing they had a bully in their life that they needed to get away from because that person has been just diminishing their self-esteem, and that it's been like, it's been a long time. I don't know why they're showing me 13 again. They're showing me 13 years for somebody. I mean, that could be a lot. Maybe it's 4, because 13 can be a 4, and then we've got a 3 here and a 5, so maybe 3 to 5 years, 4 years. But I was seeing 13 for somebody. And when I was doing the Fire Tribe readings, you might want to check the channel messages. They were saying something about a 13th step. I don't know if that has relevance for some of y'all. But it was in connotation to, in some cases, like overcoming a codependency and like a 12-step program and like a magical 13th step that they've called in for themselves. One way or the other, though, I'm hearing that a really good tip here is to get to know yourself in a new space and in a new way. This does not have to be romantic, okay? But I'm dovetailing this off of your solar plexus here, because this is all about, you know, this third chakra is how you experience yourself. It's how you experience the light that you are. And whether or not you're expressing that in a way that's advantageous to you might have a lot to do with how you were raised, especially if you're being confronted with some kind of bully. I'm hearing in some cases, you know, that's exactly what this is. So even if you don't have Earth in your chart, this might be literally somebody deciding to leave like a broke feeling situation. So it's not a great indicator on finances, and I do have to put it out there, Libra. You know, in some cases, this is a very strong cautionary note about how you're spending your money for the second half of the month. And I'm hearing, don't let anybody be pushing you into a broke feeling or literally being broke, especially if you've got some, like, shadow character trying to blow your house down. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Carolyn Mace book. We're going to get some more context clues on this bully here. They've given us another keyword to keep in mind here. It says coward. Coward, Libra. You might have a coward in your life. 4 bullet points and a tip. First bullet point, should be evaluated by far more than whether you bully people. Second bullet point says, symbolically, we bully our spirits into backing down from challenges, usually because of a diminished self-esteem. Third bullet point says, beneath the bully lurks the coward, which the bully masks. And the last one says, shadow bully always gives into fear by lashing out. So here's the tip, Libra. Honestly assess whether you have a lifelong pattern of bullying others to cover your own fear, or vice versa. And if that's the case, especially if this is you feeling like a lack maybe from just realizing that and realizing, oh my gosh, you know, I'm like feeling broke within myself because this is on my mind. Maybe this is how I'm showing up. You know, maybe it's time to just kind of get to know Libra again. You know, in some cases, that's all this is. I know this is like the romance sector card, and yeah, it could be about a new romance, and as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. Sure, could happen. And it could also be just a recommendation that you allow yourself to re-experience who you are on a deep level, because in some cases, you've just had somebody blowing some bullshit into your head and into your ear about who you are, and that this is a time to like release that. And I'm hearing some of y'all are like ready to do it. In some cases, you are literally being lifted out of the situation because it says that the situation is already resolved. So some cases, you know, that might be assistance that you literally need to call in. In other cases, I'm hearing it might be a move. I'm hearing in some cases, this is actually the Libra, like saying, I'm getting into this situation, and it really costing a lot, you know, and so, you know, it might cost more money than you were expecting, I'm hearing, and I'm also just hearing too, look, I just got to say it since this is showing up on your mind. Please be gentle with yourself. And please realize that how much money you have in the bank is not a direct correlation on who you are as a person, as a human being. It doesn't predicate your value, you know, and maybe you felt like abused by that before. Maybe you've been like afraid of like being blown over by life because you didn't have enough. And so that can be very overwhelming. And so I was just being told, you know, color yellow is a really great color to focus on right now. Sound healing would be great. You can look up solar plexus chakra and just like type it into YouTube and see what else comes up. Sometimes they have really cool things, singing bowls and stuff. You can just like turn it on while you're like doing things around the house. You can even do what I do. I like stack it underneath music and, you know, I just kind of play that and have a good time. And hey, sometimes it just helps you feel better. And I'm hearing that during the Mercury retrograde period, which is between, you know, 3 to 5 weeks, right? It's like, you know, 3-4 weeks-ish, maybe 4 weeks. Maybe that's why we're getting these numbers here. To take that time to process these things, get to know yourself in that quiet space, and just stay away from that shit that doesn't make you feel good. You know? Sometimes it's just not worth it. And in some cases, I'm hearing it's just leaving a bullshit job. And that some of y'all are just like drawing a line in the sand. And this month, it's just kind of like, I was getting something similar with, I don't remember who it was. Was it Gemini? The messages come fast. You might just want to play these videos over. But I was hearing something about people just realizing like how much they've grown from these places that hurt, and that a lot of the big opportunity of this Mercury retrograde that we're going to be going through is kind of like processing that. It's like the highs and the lows, and sometimes, you know, that teeter-totter sway of energy can actually be a good thing if you're aware of what's happening and you're using that as an opportunity to get in touch with those things that pull you in different directions, because you can really get into a lot of truth. And so in some cases, it's like that 3 to 5 here is like talking about like that condensed period of time, you know, maybe around 5 weeks total between shadows and like the actual Mercury retrograde period to kind of re-experience yourself, getting to know yourself, revealing your own inner workings to yourself, and realizing where you've kind of like maybe bullied yourself out of things you wanted to do. And in some cases, it had to do with the job. And so I'm hearing some people are just like, you know what? It wasn't really worth it. I am going to take my chance on something new and different, even if it's stretching me a little bit financially right now. And I'm hearing in some cases it's a great idea. You're going to know if it's for you, Libra. One way or the other, you know, we're all praying for you here. And I'm hearing that the situation's already resolved, and there's like a big-ass angel there that's like ready to help you. And in some cases, something completely different. I'm hearing in some cases this is about having left that all before and finding yourself in the process of the change, because sometimes it's all a 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be all this broke stuff, you know. I know that doesn't look too good, right? But sometimes it's not that. I mean, look, you've got like somebody with you in some cases, and that's like somebody that's just willing to weather that storm with you. You know, maybe that's what this is, and that it's like giving you a new way to look at yourself and experience yourself in that life that you are after having somebody treat you like shit before, and it just being a revelation to you about how it's giving you wings, you know, and feeling lifted and carried in that. And I'm hearing in some cases you need to take time to get to know yourself in that space and perhaps that other person. And it's a beautiful time to do that with the Mercury retrograde. It doesn't have to be a horrible time between couples, especially if you found somebody that's worth like walking in the snow, hobbling around like that with, you know, somebody that maybe is helping you experience your light and just like, you know what, we're in it together. And, you know, even if it is some shit, I'm in it with you, honey. You know, you might be having a beautiful healing in that. And I'm hearing it's good to let yourself get to know yourself in that space, because support comes in different ways, Libra. So let's go ahead and let's just back it up a little bit. I'm going to bust open the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle Deck book. We're going to read about that solar plexus chakra, because this is actually what's on your mind, your third chakra. All right, 3, solar plexus chakra, key facts, color yellow, sound, rom, element, fire, gland, pancreas, adrenal, keywords, I can. Okay, I'm hearing don't work too hard chasing the money and burning out your adrenal glands too, if you can. Some of y'all need some rest. I'm hearing some of this, wow, is like the attack on your pancreas, wow, or your adrenals, because you're working very hard for your money. So you might need some support. You can look up some herbal support on that. So I'm hearing cauliflower would be really good with you with turmeric. Keywords, I can. Solar plexus chakra is located between the navel area just below the rib cage. It represents power, vitality, willpower, self-esteem, and confidence. The energy center where your emotions and feelings are recorded. This chakra is associated with clairsentience, inner feeling, which is the major psychic reception area. To balance this chakra, you may want to try yoga, dance, and movement, or breath work with color. In addition, be aware of people who drain your energy. Workshops and classes that focus on empowerment will help you open and harmonize this area. So you might want to keep that in mind, especially if you know that you need to work on that. I'm just hearing herbal support would be really good. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the getting to know each other card too, because I'm hearing for some of y'all, you literally did call in like a really good spiritual partner, and that's what this is really about. It's like finding the person that has helped you experience your inner light and the one that's like worth all of that for. I don't always see this being negative, it just depends on the context and who you are. In some cases, this is a good thing to see because it's like, depending on how it's put together, it could be showing up as the person that's really willing to show up in your world and take that difficult walk with you if you're in it. And so if you found that person, I'm hearing now's a really good time to get to know them and to also just be real about who you are, what you're all about, what it is you want. In some cases, this is just like reconnecting with your partner and realizing that they were there with and for you. So you're going to know how it strikes you. I'm just going to tell you what the book says here on getting to know each other. The romance angels are guiding you to create intimacy with your partner by revealing your true feelings, your dreams and desires, and the other innermost aspects of yourselves. You discover commonalities and learn new ways of relating. If you're presently in a relationship, this card is a message of healing through honest dialogue. This is particularly true if you've stuffed down feelings instead of discussing them with your partner. Perhaps sitting together with a counselor will give you the strength and support to admit them. Regardless, this card clearly guides you toward holding deep and honest discussions for the benefit of your love life. So I think it makes sense there, Libra. And, they're telling you Virgo again. Look, if you're in an abusive situation, sweetheart, and there's like some kind of bully here, I'm just hearing, you see these show up like this. Sometimes it's worth leaving whatever that security was, because it might have been an illusion, and I'm hearing in some cases somebody was being beat with a cane. I'm hearing walk toward the light. Please get help if you need it. And I'm hearing some of y'all know, and that's why this is showing up. This situation is already resolved. So, call on your angels if you need, and just know that we're praying here too. If you need somebody to do a personal prayer, it's something I like to do. I'd love to pray for you. And I hope that you're reaching out for resources that might be available if you really do need to leave a situation of domestic abuse, or physical abuse of some kind, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. Abuse happens in different ways. So please take care of your own self and make sure that, especially if you're just focused on things a lot and maybe even taking time apart, and here in some cases this is just missing somebody, that's not there that you want there. And, make sure that you're doing things that are helping you focus on that light, because that's really what's going to lift your spirits in the situation. So I'm going to leave it on that practical advice and a tip from Archangel Michael that this situation is already resolved. Right, Libra? Dear Archangel Michael, I give any worries, cares, and concerns to you in exchange for true peace in all ways. Thank you for resolving this situation in a divinely perfect way. Amen. All right, Libra, that's what I got for you. Hope you liked it. Hope it made sense. If it did, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Hit me up if you'd like that personal prayer or a personal reading. I'm running a special through the 20th on all readings ordered. So please feel free to hit me up at prayer@fatheroftribes.com for more information on any of that. If I don't hear from you, hey, make it a merry whatever you do and have a great time. Please be careful with yourself and others. God bless you. I'll see you soon.